Hello everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to Claudio Sano TV. Just getting ready to do some hitting lessons, getting into the swing of things, pardon the pun. But I get asked all the time, what is my all-time major league team? And it's hard because you want to put your favorite players in, or you want to put the best players in each position, and you're obviously going to eliminate some major superstars, right? So I'm kind of trying to blend them all in. So let's start off with first base. First base, I'm going to go with Lou Gehrig. And also you want players who can play and players who also have some integrity, leadership qualities, things like that. So again, we'll go with Lou Gehrig at first base, who could obviously hit. And obviously was a great person as well. But not only that, but if you watch some old highlights of Lou Gehrig, he had a very good glove, very good hands, good arm for first base, and he hustled too. He ran pretty good, better than people think. So I'm going to go with Lou Gehrig at first base. Second base, Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan could hit for power. He was a good RBI guy, great glove, could fly to steal 58, 60 bases a year. And he also had that attitude that he's going to run through a wall for you. So second base, Joe Morgan of the Cincinnati Reds. And obviously Lou Gehrig of the New York Yankees. Morgan made his name with the Reds. Shortstop, Alex Rodriguez, who's one of my favorite players, not only on the field but off the field with his business success. But Alex could hit for average, hit for power, could steal a base, great glove, great arm. He had all the tools. So I'm definitely going with Alex Rodriguez as shortstop. Even though I know Ozzie Smith was a great glove, I get that. Cal Ripken, but I'm going to go with Alex Rodriguez. Third base, George Brett of the Kansas City Royals. George could obviously, one of the best hitters I've ever seen, could hit for average, could hit for power, could steal you a couple bags too. Great glove, great arm, and had the attitude. So George Brett at third base. Right field. Being from Pittsburgh, obviously, you got to go with Roberto Clemente, who played with passion, could hit, also had more power than people give him credit for. If he'd have played somewhere, maybe even at Three River Stadium longer in his career, he'd have had many more home runs than he did. The one year where Harry the Hat Walker, his manager, asked Roberto to hit for more power, Roberto hit 29 home runs. I believe it was 68, 69, something like that. So Roberto had some pop to him, and obviously his glove, he could run, okay? He could be a stolen base threat today, and he obviously probably the greatest arm of all time. Center field, I'm going to go with Willie Mays. It was close between him and DiMaggio, but I'm going to go with Willie Mays because Willie had the power, had more speed, great defensive outfielder, good arm. He had all the 5 tools as well, so I'm going with Willie Mays. Left field, I'm going to go with Rickey Henderson, the greatest leadoff hitter of all time. Plus, he had a little attitude with him, which would boost the club up a little bit. Obviously, #1 base stealer of all time, scored more runs than anybody of all time, had power, great defensive player, so you can't go wrong with Rickey Henderson. Now, obviously, and a catcher, I'm going to have Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench, the greatest catcher of all time. He was great offensively and obviously defensively with a great arm, accurate arm, great glove, leadership abilities, Johnny Bench. Now the starting pitchers, I'm going to go with 5. I'm going to go with Tom Seaver, Jim Palmer, Steve Carlton. I'm going to go with Roger Clemens, and I'm going to go with I got to go with Cy Young. He had 511 wins. That's something that'll never be eclipsed for sure, without question. In the bullpen, I'm going to go with Mariano Rivera. Okay. Now I've eliminated 2 guys. I'm going to have a DH. I'm going to have DH. I'm going to have 2 DHs. This is my list. I can do what I want. Babe Ruth. You got to put Babe Ruth. Probably the greatest hitter of all time. I know Ted Williams. Excuse me. And I didn't put Ted Williams on this list, but I'm going to go with Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron. I don't know if I platoon him or what, but those guys are going to get their at-bats in. So that's my lineup. Gehrig, Morgan, Rodriguez, Brett, Rickey Henderson in left, Willie Mays in center, Roberto Clemente in right, catching Johnny Bench. The pitching staff is Seaver, Palmer, Carlton, Roger Clemens, Cy Young, and in the bullpen I have Mariano Rivera. And I'm going to throw Dennis Eckersley in there too. He was very dominant. Now, and the DHs are Hank Aaron and Babe Ruth. So for the other ones I eliminated, I apologize. No Pete Rose, again, no Ted Williams. So there's Reggie Jackson, a lot of guys, Ozzie Smith, that you could put in there. But I'm going to stick with that lineup for sure. Brooks Robinson, Mike Schmidt, a lot of guys. Baseball is hard to do this with, but it's fun. Now, to coach this team, you need somebody who can get everybody to mesh. You need somebody that gets along with everybody. You need somebody who provides or gives those guys to be who they are and yet be one team. You need somebody who's good with the X's and O's. You need somebody who's good with, if there is a problem, even the greatest players of all time have bad streaks, and you have to be able to fix them and fix them quick. Somebody who maybe needs to be tough if the egos are getting out of check or out of place, or if there's issues in the clubhouse, or if somebody's down, they need picked up. So you need somebody who can check mark all those boxes. Some guys who came to mind were Chuck Tanner, who's unbelievable, Tony La Russa, Tommy Lasorda. Billy Martin check marks a lot. He check marks a lot of those boxes. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. But I chose somebody who I'm very comfortable with, somebody who I studied a lot, somebody who I'm very confident that can check mark all of those boxes. It would be a great manager. Joe Torre is another one who'd be good. But I'm going to have to go with me. Claudio Relsano is going to coach that team.